Well, Andrew's here with us now, of course. I've always known you as Shovel. Over the years, we've known each other.
Absolutely.
And yet, Andrew Lovell is who you are. And for the purposes of this interview and the story and the programme that you shot with Alex there, it felt like it was an important part of your identity, didn't it?
Yeah, it would have been remiss, you know, to be called Shovel when that particular programme, The Secrets in My Family, it's all about, you know, hey, it's time to be open. So I was christened Andrew. Hardly anyone knows that, you know.
Isn't it funny?
I've been called Shovel since the mid-'80s, so it was time to get me out, get the truth out, get my name out and get my circumstances out.
And what's a secret in your family as well, Andrew? I mean, really an extraordinary thing to be confronted with at a time in your life when you were about to start or thinking of starting your own family.
Yeah, I mean, that's what brought it all up. But at that time, I was going out with another mixed race, half Indian, half Irish. I was half Jamaican. I imagined, that's what I was told, half English. And I started thinking about all those mixtures. Then I started thinking about my lineage, my grandparents, my family, who I don't know. No. And that was what spurred me to sit down with my parents, my adopted parents, and finally ask some questions after 33 years. I hadn't asked a single question before.
What was that moment like when they finally said, look, there's something we need to tell you? We're actually your real parents or your real mum? Well,
it wasn't anything as simple and as easy as that. And I spoke to them in the September of '98 and said, listen, it's about time I'm going to ask them questions. They said, all right, would let us talk to each other first and then we'll speak to you. I then went on tour, got back 20th of September. So it happened on Christmas night, 1998, just to add a bit of tizzle in there. And I got called downstairs, the TV was off, so I knew it was going to be a really serious conversation. My mum was sitting like this, just didn't look up as I walked in. I was sitting there, my dad was here, my mum was there, and it was my dad who told me. And he just said, well, you know, Andrew, you asked us, and we were going to take this as a secret to our grave, but we will tell you, your mum, Joyce, is your real mum. And I was just, you know, I was 33, nearly 34, and like you go through, I went through life as I'm adopted, and all the subconscious...
The issues that come with that as well.
All of the issues, all the, you know, your self-respect, your mother's given you away. So I learned, I know that now, not at the time, you know, all that comes with insecurity. So that was a really overwhelming tsunami wave of emotions that actually knocked me out, and didn't happen till about 13 months later that it actually hit me. And I mean, it hit me hard, man.
It must have been so many mixed emotions going on in that family as well, though, because you were surrounded by love, weren't you? Your mum fought to keep you, despite the fact that it meant her relationship was in jeopardy. Your dad, your adopted dad, and then, you know, was so loving to you and accepted another man's child and all that went with that. That was a product of an affair. And yet all that sort of love and sacrifice that they did to make sure that you stayed with them and weren't fostered out, kind of you never knew about. And you were just hit with this strange sense of being a bit of a cuckoo.
In that second, everything was the same. Everything changed.
It was different, yeah.
My mum was my mum, my dad was my dad, my brother was my brother, but it was all now, it's all completely changed, and all my aunts and uncles, and and why did you lie? What's the deceit? But I know you love me. It was, everything was conflicting and smashing and crashing.
But I suppose if we look back at those times, there were probably their own reasons. Now, though, you want to find your real dad or understand some clues of that side of your history.
I've got to say that this, for me now, this is a story of celebration, a story of love, and it's a story of family overcoming many obstacles. Obstacles that in the mid-'60s were completely different to how they are in certain countries perceived. It's a more openness today. So, yes, I'm looking for any information, any clues about my biological family / biological father.
So what do we know so far? And you've had a few sort of impacts, but a few contacts since the programme.
As part of the programme, The Secrets in My Family, W Channel, 9 o'clock till 10, Monday nights. As part of that, I've learnt from my aunt, my Auntie Dole, who's in that series, who's immense. She's 90 in January. And she was the one who told me that my mum had a very good friend. His name was George. He worked at the Peak Friends biscuit factory in Bermondsey, and a Jamaican guy, you know, and it's very, that really good friend
Yeah, okay.
was, you know, and it was 1964. I was born in 65. So we don't know definitely, but we're thinking it's around.
And if that rings any bells with anyone,
Absolutely,
get in
and
touch.
people have contacted me as far away as Thailand, and they've got contact with that biscuit factory. So I'm putting it out there to find my family, potentially my father, but I'm also putting it out there as a man that when you're in trouble, when there's to speak out, you know, speak out. I'm a South East London geezer, but I had dark times. Speak out, get help, ask for help, and love your family. And when you've got family members, love them, hold them, and tell them the truth.